We are online broadcast right now. Oh, so everything's okay. Mr. Raka, you can hear us clearly.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So yeah, we are back again to continue with our political discussion. It's like a continuity of our previous show. So today we're here to discuss about Wike that he sent a strong message to Atiku. I'm going to read the message. Did the Tinubu's school in Chicago confirm his certificate? So there's still a debate behind this idea of certificate that Tinubu said that he lost his certificate during the military era, you know. So, Mr. Kojebe, thank you for joining us on the program today. Mr. Raka, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's dive into this discussion. First of all, Wike sends a strong message to Atiku. What do you think about Wike right now? What exactly is the stand of Wike in this upcoming election?
Who are you asking the question?
You,
Me or
Mr.
Akoje?
Mr. Raka, I think you will be the right person to answer this question. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay,
Raka.
let me tell you something.
Mm.
You see, a lot of our politicians have repeatedly made the same mistake over and over and over again. That's politicians in the south. Forgive me when I always do this north and south things. I know some of like my brother there who is an academia may not want to throw this line, but I'm in a system. I'm in this mode, so I'm not afraid to allow baiting in the mud to change the perspective or the taste or culture of my intellectual disposition. You see, Jonathan was a victim of this thing, was guilty of the same thing. We always look at the northerners that because they are schooled, or because within a certain period we have established some sort of camaraderie or friendship. When it comes to a political alliances, they will hold on to those friendship and become loyal. Unfortunately, the northern cabal, they don't have that code. They don't have that code that because we are friendship, our friendship supersedes our ethnic affiliation. They don't have that code. Now, Wike, before the primaries, had an understanding with Tambuwal, and it was because of the support he believed Tambuwal was going to give to him that made him brag all the brag that he was bragging. He was so certain he was going to win the PDP primaries. And in truth, everything ceteris paribus, everything being equal, he really ought to have won that primaries. But the politics of to your tent, O Israel, even the Almighty Wike was guilty of that. Now, Tambuwal disgraced him. As I'm concerned, Wike feels very, very betrayed, and indeed he should feel so. I think he has learnt his lesson in one swoop. Now, why I love Wike, I love Wike die, I love Wike pieces. Now, Wike now understands how very important he is. In case you don't know, after the election, Atiku has sent emissaries to come and visit him. Tinubu has sent emissaries to go and visit him. Tambuwal has visited him. Kwankwaso has visited him. Peter Obi has visited him. So Wike's residence now is like a mecca for all political hopeful planning to win the South-South block vote, because anywhere Wike is, they believe that a whole block of people will follow him. So everybody's trying to woo him back. But the truth is, you cannot treat somebody the way you have treated him in the primaries and still expect him to support you. This is a man who has held PDP, even when APC wanted to crash and annihilate PDP whatsoever. Wike stood by and ensured that PDP still have what they call is it a PCR, PCR, where mouth to mouth resuscitation. Wike was the only one who stood back and ensured that the life, whatever life that remains in PDP, remains alive. And he held PDP to a point whereby even after 8 years of this Buhari's misfortune, PDP is still alive. Now Atiku came and used his money. Of course, Wike matched him dollar for dollar, but for those who have ripped, for those who have stolen this country dry for years, of course you cannot match him. Now he wanted to choose a VC, a deputy, rather, because I have already said it. I've said it several times in your show that when the Hausa man wants to choose a deputy, of course they will choose a deputy that will not be a hold on. You guys are distracting me outside. Go until they are distracted. I'm making noise outside. Now, when the northerner want to choose a southern vice, they will always choose somebody they believe will not give them problem. Coming from somebody who gave a southern man a real problem, you need to hear Obasanjo speak about Atiku, how Atiku plotted to remove him, how Atiku was working against Obasanjo. So for somebody who has worked against his master, will definitely be cautious of somebody who work against him if he becomes a master. So he will pick somebody believed to be less inquisitive or less powerful. And he chose Okowa. Perhaps that's why Okowa made sure that Okowa and Edo State made sure that their delegates gave their votes to Atiku. So for me, Wike is very offended. And in his right, he should be very, very offended. I think certain things needs to happen for every southern politician to know how very, very valuable they are. These guys that comes from the north, they really don't have anything to offer us. All they simply do is sit back and exploit our political ignorance, if I should put it that way, political ignorance, to use us. We supply the machineries, that's wealth, that runs this country, but at the same time it is the same us that becomes subservient. How is it possible that he who plays the piper does not dictate the tune? We give life to this country, yet we are not the one who determines this country. Those who give less than nothing are the ones who tells you that this is how the country should be. Imagine a Hausa man coming on live to tell you that the Igbos are too much in a hurry, that they should wait for another 7 to 10 years before they will. They are too much in a hurry. So our Nigerian political battle has become a sign exchange between the Yorubas and the Hausas. You see, we cannot take the peculiarities of Nigeria for granted. We have religious peculiarities, we have ethnic peculiarities, and for Africa to work well, these peculiarities must be taken into consideration for us to show the world that yes, we have the capability to be fair and just. We cannot, if you look at Nigerians since Nigeria's independence from 1960, you could see that power exchange has been between the Yorubas and the Hausas, Yoruba, Hausa, Yoruba, Hausa, and they are almost becoming used to that effect. That the over 375 other tribes that constitute indigenes in their right of this country called Nigeria should go to hell, including the Igbos, who by some extent measure up as one of the 3 major tribes. They should go to hell. This cannot continue. It cannot continue like this. And the Wike speech, sorry, Mr. Kojo, I will round up in 1 minute. Wike speech immediately after the primaries. I fell in love with him. I love him before, but I fell in love with him 100%. If Wike wants my wife right now, I'll take my wife and give to Wike. You see, we have already settled. Anytime Wike should just make the order, I'll give him my wife. For that statement, it showed that immediately Wike now understands what we have been telling our southern brothers for a very long time. These people, they take no prisoners. They don't understand the concept of allegiance or alliances. They don't understand. The only thing that the Canada man knows is his religion and his region. You can't take that away from them. Now they've showed Wike. Wike is now realizing, because in his broadcast after the primaries, he was saying that he was attacking Okowa and Edo State governor. That it is the same you that will come and shout that you are being marginalized by the North. Yet you will not refrain from actions that continuously place people to rule you. Imagine if Edo State and Delta State gave their delegates to Wike and Udo Emmanuel for Ebonyi State. There's no way Atiku would have won that thing, even with the stepping down of Tambua. But we enjoy suppressing ourselves. So Wike is hot. The same way you are feeling hot now that the South is being marginalized. That is what is happening to Wike. And Wike knows the truth. If he decides to settle with Atiku now, he knows that he's agreeing to settle with Atiku is only a submission that the North will continue to rule us. But then the North Atiku will never pick Wike as vice, except it is not the North. Except I'll spend 50 years. Except I'll spend 50 years in the North for nothing. Atiku will not pick Wike. It is out of their code because they will not want someone that will question what they are doing. And you and I know that Wike will not be the type that will be bossed around. Wike will not be bossed around. Of course, that is not a candidate for the North. They want somebody who is quiet, somebody who have no shoes like Jonathan. That's who they want. And how these people are able to identify idiots, sorry for using that word, how these people are able to identify idiots from our land still beats me. How can Okowa be accepted to be a vice to another Fulani after one Fulani? Why would Sani not come? Why would Sani not come to this show and be bragging the way he's bragging when they have keys that opens our stupidity? Let me allow somebody to talk. Maybe make an old vex scatter because I'm not happy. Nobody should be happy about Nigeria the way it is right now.
Mr. Raka, let Mr. Akpojebe, what do you think about Mr. Raka's comment? I don't see anything wrong with Okowa being the vice president. I don't see anything wrong being that
No,
is from the
I will
south.
disagree. I will
No,
disagree with you
no.
100%. I will disagree
Let,
with you 100%. Okowa, they use Okowa to betray one of his own. Are we now? Why do we see betrayal as a normalcy? Something we now wrap it in the narrative that now politics. No, because no southern man can use another man to go against his brother. It's not possible.
Mr.
Now,
Raka, so I would advise you to limit this your comment about the Southerners, the Northerners. You know, we don't want to hit the politics about this division that is going on in Nigeria. So let's just look
as
like
much whether you discuss about it or you don't discuss about it, the division is there. The division is. You see, this is what I don't like about discussing with us, particularly you guys that stay in outside the country. It is what is there. It is there. It is there. They discuss it here. It's yesterday. Let me tell you. Yesterday, I was in a place where I was relaxing. I was with one elderly Hausa man. The man told me that I showed him. I printed a banner for Peter Obi. You know what he told me? He said, Kai, kachikudishu. You know what I mean? Eat their money. Eat their money. Eat their money. He still believes I am doing that thing because of money. He didn't know that banner I did, one cover didn't come from me from Labour Party. I did it as a personal sacrifice. And then he was telling me that Atiku, that the only person that can hold this country is Atiku. That we Southerners, we are not ready for governance here because we have not matured to rule this country. This is the type of arrogance that they have. And yet when we come to tell you, they say, no, let's talk about this division. They are already divided. The North is already divided with the South. Don't tell me not to talk about it. I am the one who experiences. I experience it every day. They tell me right to my face that I am lesser than them. I should not even be considering to be president. The campaign manager of Kwankwaso said that the Igbos should relax until another 10 years. He also told me yesterday that we are too much in a hurry. We are not ripe yet. We don't have the ability to rule this country. And I asked him, you that have been ruling this country, where have you taken this country to? Our education has collapsed. Our schools have collapsed. Our health insurance have collapsed. Our NMPC has collapsed. Everything that the outside man touches is zero. And you are telling me the division is there. You talk about it, you don't talk about it, the division is there and will always be there. So let's not be political about this. Let's not be politically correct because it's there. It's there. And what I've seen, what I've experienced, and you said I shouldn't talk about it, I will talk about it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Raka, thank you. Mr. Akpojebe, go ahead, sir.
Yeah?
You see,
Hmm?
uh, going by what we've discussed in our previous programs, my position on Nigerian election is clear. The 20, the 2023 election is going to be, in fact, it's a scam. There's no need for that election. Be you Wike, what's his name, Abubakar Atiku, Bola Tinubu, or whatever it is, the whole of them are birds of a feather. This is why they cross from one party to another easily and they blend easily. It doesn't happen like that in other parts of the world, like the United States, for example. Democrats are well known as Democrats. What's called Republicans are Republicans. And it has been traditional in the USA. And that's how it is in most parts of the world. So I cannot argue for Wike or whatever it is. Now, take Wike, for example. He's been in power for so many years. What has he done? Just like other governors, I'm sorry, what has he done to transform River State into an industrialized state? What has the Northerners done to transform the country into an industrialized country? All they are interested in is sharing of money, privileges, ambassadorial appointment, and what have you. I'm tired of saying I'm tired of Nigeria. And one thing we should know is that Nigeria cannot be reformed without great risk. This problem we are facing in Nigeria, there's absolutely no way we can reform Nigeria without taking terrible risk. This is why I've been hammering on an issue. We need a UN intervention to stop that election from taking place in 2023. Nigeria should be declared a mandated territory of the United Nations. If not, there's a disaster looming in the whole of West Africa. If Nigeria should scatter, West Africa is finished. This is the point I'm making. So I cannot argue in favor of Atiku because morally he is bankrupt. Atiku is morally barren and bankrupt. Wike himself, I've not seen any spectacular development they've done. I expect him, like, for example, look, let me cite a good example. When I was in Nigeria, when the World War took over, when UPN won Bender State, they transformed the educational system of the state. It was a radical transformation. More children entered schools. They produced more teachers. They knew beforehand there would be shortage of teachers. They established colleges of education. I think one in Warri, one in Afuze, one in I think Benin City, Kedal also, and other places. Now, they were able to, it was a revolution in the educational system. If they had not implemented those, policies for free education, I just wonder the amount of illiterates we will have been having in Bender, that's Edo Delta today. That is the work of one man, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. What has Wike done to lift the people out of poverty? I know he has limitations because the way the federal government is operating is limiting the state governments from actualizing their potentials. For example, if you are setting up an industry, let's say you want to produce, let's say, a Coca-Cola or whatever it is, and if the federal government want to frustrate you, they just leave you when they are discussing their budgetary allocation, budget for the following year. All the materials you need for that industry to succeed, they place it on ban or they increase the what's called import duties or whatever it is. They have a lot of indirect ways of pulling the nation down. This is why I'm not happy with the Northerners. When I say Northerners, I mean leaders, not the average, not the common Northerners, the Northern leaders. They are a nuisance to the country. They've been in control of the system for how many years now? Since independence. They cannot industrialize the country. All they are interested in is breeding children irresponsibly. Children they never send to schools. And these children now are now the foot soldiers for Boko Haram. So all Nigerian politicians, at least for now, from my perspective, they cannot take us to the promised land. 2023 election should be cancelled. The UN should take over Nigeria as a mandated territory. After that, then we know what to do next. So I cannot argue for Atiku, neither can I argue for, what you call Wike of River State or Tinubu of Lagos or whosoever it is. So this is my stand on the issue. I'm very sorry. The nitty-gritty, the infighting between Wike and Atiku, I cannot comment on it because to me, they are all birds of a feather. There's no difference.
So, Mr. Raka, hello, Mr. Raka. Let's quickly discuss about Tinubu's certificate. That he was not able to provide his certificate. He wrote an affidavit to. Oh, hold on. Sorry. So his certificate. Hello.
Okay, but still, we have not trashed the issue of Wike out yet. You see, without this in Mr. Koje, you see, one of the biggest problem I have with discussing with academians is that they would always look at issues from an intellectual rationality, which is okay. It's very okay because 1 + 1 is 2, 2 - 1 is 1. These are logical inferences that people must deduce from. You understand me? Inductive and deductive reasonings to solutions. It's a natural thing. I don't have a problem with that. Thank God you are a product of Government College Ughelli. I am a product of Government College Ughelli. You are my senior there. So, but then at least I am not exactly a small boy. You understand me? Now, you see, there is a difference between realism and inductive perspective. That is what it should be and how it should be. There's a difference between that and what it is. You see, the Europeans came and by virtue of their common interests formed Nigeria. They never had the interest of Nigeria at heart. It was never about how Nigeria will work in the future. It was a matter of convenience, and they brought us together. As at that time they brought us together, the Fulanis that they call Northerners already have a system of politics. The South only, we were just interested in our means of subsistence, just how to survive, what is immediately available for our immediate survival. And we are carrying that till today. The Fulani man or the Northerners already knows what actions we take today that will benefit them in the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Till today, as we speak, the Southern man cannot think about an action that will benefit it for today and tomorrow. Talk less of 1 year or 2 years or 5 years. So what is happening is that by error of omission or commission, we are now in Nigeria together. The question is, how do we get out of it? The people who form themselves to become in charge of Nigeria are not ghosts. They are human beings like the Southerners. They decided to come together and say, okay, let us control this Nigeria and control the Southerners. Who says that the Southerners can come together and also control the Northerners? Why must we always be a crying people? Whenever we now find ourselves in a tight corner, we say, UN, come and help us. UN, we cannot do that. No. The problem, I disagree with UN coming to solve us. The problem is us. We must come together and fight. How many? You agree with me the other time. You told Mr. Sani the other day that how many are they? They are so small. We have a country estimated to be 200 million. And you yourself, Mr. Akwajo, said that the Fulanis are 8 million. If you take 8 million away from 200...
Mr. Raka, will you stop even... Please, let's not discuss about Mr. Sani anymore. He will feel so...
Okay, let's leave about that. Mr. Akwajo himself said that the Fulanis are 8 million. It is less than 5% of the entire population. How can we sit down and nourish the division among us and allow a people less than 5% to continue to dictate Nigeria? And we now agree by our comments that they have dictated Nigeria so much that we cannot, in all honesty, cage these people and put them where they belong until we invite UN to come in. Come on. That's, to me, sorry, apologies. So I hope you're not offended. We are discussing.
Discussion.
You understand me? To me, that hold on, just 10 seconds. To me, that is a defeatist approach to a situation. They came together and are controlling Nigeria. We should come together and also take back Nigeria from them. That's my stand.
Okay, now the issue is this. Jonathan Goodluck is from the South.
Yeah.
What did he accomplish as a president?
No.
Olusegun Obasanjo, excuse me, Olusegun
Go ahead.
Obasanjo,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Olusegun Obasanjo is a Yoruba man, was there on 2 terms. What did he accomplish? He was there as a military head of state. What did he accomplish? Now, the issue is this. We want the country to develop, to industrialize. I don't bloody care if it's an Urobo man who's achieving it, or an Igbo man, or a Kwere man, or whatsoever it is.
Exactly.
What I want is for the country to develop. The country is not developing. Now, they also use we Southerners to perpetuate on that development. You get the point I'm making? I want a situation whereby if your child falls sick, if I fall sick, I should go to University of Benin Teaching Hospital, if not Specialist Hospital on Saple Road, to get myself cured. When I was a little boy in a primary school, I ran a primary school. When I'm sick, we go to Specialist Hospital along Saple Road near Prison Yard in Benin. That is where we get cured. They give us tablets free as children and other things. Why can't we improve on that system? People used to come from Republic of Benin, I remember clearly, on overseas medical treatment to Nigeria. Republic of Benin, our next door neighbor, and Togo, they used to come. As for the Ghanaians, I cannot remember if they used to come or not. Who is going to move this country forward? Now, if our own people were there, they could not accomplish much. This is because the ruling class in Nigeria is a cabal. Please take it from me. That cabal is governed by is controlled by the Northerners. They used to be called Kaduna Mafia. When they were finding the situation beyond their control, they opened up. They incorporated people from other tribes to form the new cabal they have now. It's the same class of people who have been mismanaging the country since independence till now. If that class is not overthrown, we will never see the promised land, let alone get in there. This is the point I'm making.
I agree with you. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, when Atiku was in office, let's call a spade a spade. What Obasanjo revealed about this guy was very frightening. Is it not surprising that people of Nigeria of today are ready to die for this same man to become president? How serious are we? Are you getting me? You saw what You saw what Tinubu did in Lagos. Despite all the horrendous atrocities they've been committing in the financial circles, people are ready to die for him to become president. This is why Socrates said, if people get the government they deserve. When Babangida was misbehaving, he postponed handing over 3 times. When what's his name? Moshood Abiola crisis started, nobody told him to step aside because the people felt that that is not the government they deserve. If Atiku is messing you up, is messing me up, it's because you and me gave him the chance to do it. Jonathan Goodluck was there for how many years? Look at the condition of the people in the oil-producing areas in River State and Bayelsa State and Delta State. What did he do? How many hospitals did they build? Now they will tell you, oh, there's what's it called? So this North-South issue is very, very vital because it is the Northerners who are calling the shots and they believe in money sharing. That is just their philosophy. But the Southerners, they look for people who are also getting along with them to perpetuate this nonsense that is going on. So if Wike is at war with Atiku, that is their problem. I was not there. I don't know the cause of their war. What they discuss behind the scene, you and me will never know. When Wike
but do you know that if it was Wike that did what they did to Wike, to Atiku, there is nobody in Atiku's land that will be speaking like you, because they don't have the ability to ask questions. What did Atiku do? These people are wired. Whether they fail, whether they succeed, our own is our own. It's only we that does this. When Obasanjo was there, what did he do? When Goodluck Jonathan did, what? See, my biggest problem with speaking with not sounding derogatory. my biggest problem with speaking with people like you is that you didn't stay in the north. You've not stayed in the north as long as I have. I have stayed in the north. Do you know I've not flown an airplane in my life? I don't even know what the feeling of an airplane look like. I never flew in an airplane. I've been in this north over 55 years. So
No,
I
no,
know
excuse
this.
me. You see,
Hold on, sir. No vex, I beg, no vex. I will not interrupt you again. This is the last time I'll interrupt you.
okay.
So I was angry with myself. Why did God make my life so much that I can't leave this place? I now realize that God wanted me to know these people. So I can tell you well, I know them very, very well. And one thing I would like you to know today, Mr. Kwashe, look, these people are not as invisible as you think they are. They are not as invisible to the point that we cannot fight them until we bring national UN. They are not as invisible. They are the most scary people that if you decode their weaknesses, they will be running with their tails between their legs. I know them. What they do here, what operates their confidence is what we call Tarwan Dengi. Tarwan Dengi in the north means crowd mentality. When one Hausa man sees another Hausa man and they see that they have support, they become emboldened in their confidence. They are not like us. They will never criticize one another. They criticize one another only when they are alone. But they will never criticize one another in the public. They will never work against each other's interests in the public. They are not like
No,
us.
no,
But
no,
we
my
are
friend,
so good and confident in fighting one another.
my
I know
friend,
that as you are,
no,
I know that as you are, see, hold on. I know that as you are speaking, your style of narrative will resonate with people who want things to happen rationally in what it should be. Me, I am looking at things in what it is. That anytime we are talking, that is what I see that is different between me and you. I'm talking what it is. And quite frankly, sometimes I see that the knowledge I have about the North is a burden on me because I cannot speak the way you are speaking now. Knowing what I know about the North, it will be difficult for me. These
okay. Now,
people
look,
are
look,
not, they are devilish.
look, the issue is this. Um, our anger, are you getting me? Our
I'm with
anger,
you.
yes, our anger should not be directed at not in general. It is the ruling class you should attack, the ruling class in the north. Now, are you aware that the worst diseases on planet Earth are in northern Nigeria?
Actually, very true.
Are you aware that the poorest people on this continent of Africa are resident in the north? Are you
Very
aware?
true. Very
Now,
true.
what has happened to the billions of dollars their leaders have embezzled since 1960?
Because of feudalism. They practice
Good.
feudalism.
All
The
right.
poor
So
remain poor and the rich will remain rich.
that is what you should attack. Are you getting me right? Now, come to the south. If you come to the south, we also have poor people in the south. I hope you are getting me.
Yeah.
The million now in the oil producing areas, there's what they call derivation. 13% of the oil drilled in any state goes to the state government as derivation. If you calculate 13% of what we get from oil revenue, it is staggering. Where are the hospitals? Where are the roads? Where are the schools? Where is water? You get what I mean? So the issue is that this northern cabal, they look for people of their having like minds with them to team up and do whatever they want to do. This Jonathan Goodluck we're always talking about, let me tell you something. I hope you will not say I'm criticizing the South. The gap between the vice president and president is just a heartbeat. Are you getting me?
Totally disagree. Not the
Okay.
Nigerian constitution.
All right. Now, if Jonathan Goodluck were not reasoning along with them, they would not give him that chance. They wouldn't have given him that chance he had to be president of the republic. And while he was there as president of the republic, what did he accomplish? It's still under development, throughout the nation. Now, here with me, I have a list of people who have ruled the nation. From Tafawa Balewa, Ironsi took over. From Ironsi, Yakubu Gowon. From Yakubu Gowon, Murtala Mohammed, Obasanjo, Shagari, Muhammadu Buhari, Babangida, Shonekon, Abacha, Abdul Salam, Obasanjo, Yaradua, Jonathan Goodluck, Buhari. These are the people who have ruled the country since 1960. all these people, in what way have they transformed the country? The country is not, you see, it is not you alone that is angry. You get what I mean? We are all angry. We are all terribly angry. If you go to other African states, they look at you, I mean, they don't know how to place us. Because what they hear of Nigeria is a country that flows with, not even with milk and honey, only with honey, that everything should be sweet, sweet, sweet in Nigeria. What are you looking for in Senegal? What are you looking for in Lesotho or in Swaziland? It looks so strange to them. This is because these people mismanaging the country. We should attack them, not the ordinary Hausa man in the street. The ordinary Hausa man in the street, in the first place, his people refuse to give him education. He cannot reason the way you are reasoning. He cannot reason the way I reason because the educational background is not there.
Mr. Akwaje, sorry, no, don't bet. Do you know that in the north here, a sitting governor bought shoe shining equipment? Now, the cost of a shoe shining equipment should not be, that is polish, brush. It won't be more than 5,000 naira. Shoe shining equipment for 5,000 youths. Shoe shining equipment. I'm imagining one governor in the south buying shoe shining equipment for 5,000 youths. And this, no, 5,000 youths. And these youths were happy and they were praising him that he has done so well for him. That is because, you see, when I tell a southern man that there are people who will celebrate poverty, you find it hard to employ into your reasoning because it is strange. It is another realm that you cannot imagine. But I can tell you here that there are people who celebrate their status as poverty. There's even a song, Allah God should give you so you can give to me, Babi Allah. Give you to give me, Babi Allah. It's already a psychology that is state. Attempting to even to tell the masses here where I'm staying that, look, this riches is available for everybody. It's a futile task because nobody will even listen to you because they will tell that God in his infinite mercy cannot make everybody rich and cannot make everybody poor. So they are the ones that have been selected to be poor and they are okay with it. It is the will of God. Upon the Allah, so that is what God has wanted. That is what God wanted. You get me? So these things I know about here is weighty on me.
My friend, can you tell me of anybody, any politician in Nigeria, West Africa, Africa, anywhere in the world, who has voluntarily relinquished political power? There's no politician anywhere in the world who has voluntarily, maybe age will tell on him, or constitutional limitation will tell on him, they will step aside. But no politician anywhere in the world voluntarily relinquishes political power. These nocturnal elders we are talking about, they are their politicians. They do everything humanly possible. They are even ready to die, to sacrifice their children, to retain political power. So for you to revolutionize the North, that class must be overthrown. We are not doing anything to overthrow it. I mean, despite all the cries in the South about Buhari's style of government, is it not?
No, I agree. I agree that we've been doing something to overthrow the political class of the party, so that when the time comes, it is the same way that we fight ourselves.
Look,
right now, as I'm talking to you now, we have a Peter Obi movement. They have not started attacking Peter Obi yet, oh. They are because I know them. They are very good at waiting. Who are those that
let's digress a little bit. This Peter Obi.
Why? Because I now brought. Oh, you see, and there you go again. What is this Peter Obi issue? No. What is this Peter Obi issue? No. Tell me. I am a Peter Obi fan, so I wouldn't want what this Peter Obi issue. So what is with this Peter Obi issue? Now I'd like you to say something about that. What is this Peter?
This guy called Peter Obi.
Yeah.
Has he not been eating and drinking with these people?
And then if you suddenly realize, if you suddenly realize that he has been drinking with the right crowd and he chooses to now be alone,
now,
you are not a saint. You are not a saint. You are not a saint, too.
I see him as just like an old man trying to be left-handed at old age. Are you getting me? They'll be eating and drinking together. Excuse me. No, let's call a spade a spade. Excuse me.
No,
If
no,
they
your spade, the spade you are using is different from the spade I'm using, and that's the problem. I'm
maybe
not
I'm
using
using
the same spade you are using.
maybe a shovel and you are using a spade. Now the issue is this. The issue is this. The issue is this. If they are giving him the right to be a presidential candidate in his original party, he would not have moved to Labour Party. He has been with them in this party. They'll be eating and drinking. They find nothing wrong with each other. And one thing again is that we should not solve a problem to to create other problems. The reason I'm saying so is this. In 1979 or thereabout, we had a leader in the north called Balarabe Musa. He won the Kaduna State House of Assembly convincingly. Sorry, he won the governorship election, what's called race, convincingly, but he could not win the House. The House ended up impeaching this guy. The same thing is going to happen in Peter Obi's case. And one thing again is this. Babangida annulled the election results. Nobody did anything to him. He only stepped aside. If Peter Obi is winning, don't be alarmed if the election results will be annulled. Don't be alarmed if there will be outbursts of violence all over the country that will necessitate the declaration of a state of emergency. And who are those doing this? It's not the ordinary northerner on the streets. It's their political class. This is why I'm insisting. Unless that class is overthrown, we are just wasting.
So how do we change the system when you have people like you who are already believing that you sorry
use anyone. Use anyone.
I don't want you to just I trust you know that I am not
there's nothing you will say that will annoy me.
Okay.
On this program.
So how do we no problem.
You can even say I'm stupid. You can even say I'm stupid. I'm not.
No, I won't do that. I won't do that. I won't do that. So how do we solve a problem when at the taste of a problem you're already sounding defeatist? Because whether you like it or not, the Northerners have devised a system to hold the rest of the country into a state of subservience, right? And I'm telling you that these people, the whole of the total population of the cabal, they are not more than 100. These people you term as cabal, they're not up to 100. So if 100,
50.
Okay. I was trying to be modest with the number. So if you say they are 50 and they are able to hold the rest of the country hostage, are you now saying that over 200 million naira cannot put this people to size? How do we put this people to size when you have well-groomed intellectuals like you sounding this defeatist?
I'm not,
because you already you are because you don't believe that we can solve our problem unless we bring people from outside.
Look at it this way. When the Civil War ended, military rule continued till 1979 when Shagari came as head of state. During that election, they promised to make he-goat pregnant. They promised the politicians. The promises they gave us is tantamount to making a he-goat pregnant. They promised to make devil and God reconcile. They will sit. So they gave us all the promises in life. They disappointed us catastrophically. The government was overthrown. Another dispensation came. The same thing is happening again. And another election is coming 2023. They are using the same techniques. Now, look, voting these people to office again in 2023, be it Bola Tinubu, Atiku, or whatever it is, I mean, they are all birds of a feather. I hope you are getting me right.
Now, there's an analogy. There is an analogy. Okay, go ahead.
This is the reason why I'm advocating something very radical. Because in medical sciences, the doctors believe that a radical illness requires a radical solution. I was discussing with somebody, I think on this program somewhere some time ago. You know, malaria fever. When fever attacks you, at the infancy stage, it is very difficult to detect. But if you detect it, it's very easy to cure. But if you allow it to be full-blown, It is very easy to detect, but extremely difficult to cure. This is the problem with Nigeria. This problem we are dealing with started decades ago. Even during the colonial period, that's when it started. We did nothing about it. Now it is fully blown. We've discovered it. To cure it, ordinary Panadol will not cure it. Paracetamol will not cure it. I hope you are getting me. So this is why
Yeah, yeah.
I'm suggesting something radically different. All these are efforts, excuse me, all these are efforts in Nigeria. Well, on television, newspapers, and what have you. If it is geared towards UN intervention, the Hausa man cannot stand it. The UN, you see, and the UN has right to intervene in the country. I've said it on this program before. When Idi Amin was creating problems in Uganda and East Africa, Julius Nyerere picked up quarrel with him deliberately over the border region in Kagera. They invaded Uganda. The UN did not do anything about it. When Liberia was in problems, we went to Liberia under ECOWAS cover without UN authorization. The UN did nothing about it. We repeated it again in Sierra Leone, interfered in their problem. UN did nothing about it. Here in the Gambia where I live, we had problems in 2016 general election. During 2016 general election, Nigeria came under UN cover, and they are still here till today, funded by the Nigerian government. In Angola, the MPLA in Angola during the colonial period, Murtala Mohammed government interfered in the internal affairs of that colonial administration without UN authorization. We did the same thing in Mozambique. In Rhodesia, which brought Mugabe to office, the same thing. In South Africa, the same thing. Guinea-Bissau, the same thing. We have been interfering in other people's internal affairs without authorization from the United Nations or even from any bodies. So if we are in crisis, equivalent to the ones we have addressed in other parts of the world, I think it is sheer selfishness or xenophobia if we say that other people should not interfere in our internal affairs. You know, in
Now,
Ghana,
I
excuse me,
know,
let
Mrs.
me
No, no, no. Let me drop this in. Now,
no,
you're
last
going
point,
at least one,
no,
1 minute. 1 minute.
yes,
Okay,
no, last point, please, kindly bear with me.
okay.
When the Nigerian Civil War was brewing, I think it was General Ankara in Ghana who invited the Nigerian warring factions to go to a place called Aburi to resolve the matter there. The Ghanaians did not interfere with the deliberation, but they created an avenue for us to discuss the issues. But we could not make any sense out of it, and the Civil War eventually broke out. But however, the point I'm making is, if you are interfering in other people's internal affairs, I think to hell with us. If we are saying outsiders should not interfere in our internal affairs, more so when our internal affairs is already an existential threat to the whole of West Africa. The UN must intervene.
So, can I come in now?
Yeah, you can. Thank you so
Now,
much.
no problem. Now, I love the fact that you like making inferences, recitations. The truth is that you also forgot to make reference to Ghana. Ghana, at one point in time, was also facing the same problem of the Fulanis. Ghana, just here, I think about 2, 3, 4 years ago, they were facing the problem of the Fulanis. And what did they do? How did they do to solve it? They came together and identified where the problem is coming from, and they knew that the Fulanis were their problem. And what did they do? They banned, they chased them away. And today, Nigerians are running to Ghana. Ghana, that we all drove away from Nigeria. Nigerians now are running to Ghana because they discovered how to solve their problem. There are still Muslims in Ghana. There are Fulanis in Ghana. There are other tribes in Ghana. Ghana is a multilingual country. Ghana is a multi-religious country. Yet they are living because they came together and identified their problems and solved it. They didn't cower or cringe under the face of a challenge, under the face of the Fulani challenge. They identified it and they solved it. So if Ghana can identify the problem and solve it, who says Nigeria cannot do the same thing? I don't believe in, because resorting to bring a third party like UN to solve a problem is saying that the rest, 200, 300, and there are 300, over 375 tribes in Nigeria. One tribe, only one tribe is considered themselves as a problem to Nigeria. And
Okay,
yet,
now, excuse me.
no, no,
Excuse
no,
me.
no, 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 excuse me, no, 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 I will refuse. No, no. You spoke and I allow you to speak for so long. You understand me? You get me? No, no, no. Only one tribe is constituting themselves as a problem to Nigeria. The only reason why they perpetuate themselves is because the other tribes are still enclaved in their compartmentalization that no, we are going to fight this fight from an Edo perspective. We're going to fight this fight from an Urobo perspective. We're going to fight this fight. I know those who are not as intellectually sound will say, this man is too tribal. No, it's not being tribalistic. I
You are
can
not.
be
You are not. You are
I,
speaking your mind.
yeah,
You are speaking your mind.
I can be intellectually vocal if I want to, but I am buoyed by the experience of my relating with the northern experience. And I know that you cannot sell rationality to the average northerner. It's impossible. They
Let me ask
believe
you
that.
two questions. Let me
Okay,
ask you two questions. Should I?
go ahead.
Okay. Question number one. Do you believe that Nigeria cannot be reformed without great risk? That's question.
Yeah,
That's question
it's
number
very
one.
okay. Go ahead.
Yes. Then the second question is, don't you think we are being arrogant by saying that other nations should not interfere in our internal affairs when we are interfering in theirs?
Okay, United Nation is not a nation, and besides, they say Nigeria is the giant of Africa. So I think it is based on that status that Nigeria was interfering in other people's affairs as a giant of Africa, as a big brother, so to say. And the other question you say
The
about
first
risk.
question is, can Nigeria be reformed without great risk?
Yeah, I was on that question now. You
Okay.
understand me? So the truth is that, see, risk is part of life. That you are sitting there today, the light bulb you are using now can blow off and strike some spark on you and you get burnt. You are driving a car. Life is risk. So there is nothing you can achieve without risk. Yes, but there is manageable risk. No, sorry, yes. When I say yes, not in affirmation to your question. The truth is that Nigeria cannot be solved without its attendant risks. It's not possible.
Yes.
Every warring parties you try to solve, even your neighbors that come to settle you and your wife, when you and your wife are quarreling, it's risk, because at the end of the day, you and your wife might turn out against them that came to settle you, and you become, they'll say, if I know I for not enter, I can't settle you, and me find my trouble. Or somebody will tell you, say, what things concern you? Oh, so the truth is that every actions or inactions or every plan or execution has its attendant risks. But there are you yourself, you know that there are manageable risks and unmanageable risks. The question you should be asking is the attendant risks associated with attempting to solve Nigeria, are they manageable risks or unmanageable risks? So for me, I think they are manageable risks. The problem here is that one group of people believe that they have a higher political understanding than the rest of us. The Igbo man is not as politically sound like the Fulani man. So is the Yoruba man, the Edo man, the Yoruba man. They are not. We are not, honestly. In terms of, just as, hold on, sir. You know, the Igbo man believes that when it comes to making money, they are the best in making money. It's the same way the northerner believes that when it comes to politics, they are miles away from us in making politics. I was in Kaduna the other day. My in-law made an analogy to me. He said that if you give a Yoruba man 100 million naira, a Hausa man 100 million naira, an Igbo man 100 million naira, the Yoruba man will go to is it Jota or do whatever and open a pharmacy where they make drugs. The Igbo man will fly out and start importing things to Nigeria. The Hausa man will go and build houses and marry plenty wife and buy cars and burn the money. Why is the Hausa man spending his money like that? Because he knows that he can actually spend his money and get away with it and make more again because he has power. So I think the problem with us in the rest of the country is that we are yet to understand what power is. When Jonathan was president, he didn't know what power was. When Jonathan, no, sir, wait.
No, hurry up.
When you are talking there, it's like you don't know how long you take. Somebody's patient with you. But when somebody is talking, you are impatient. I understand how it is. So, Jonathan, Obasanjo, everybody, all the Southerners that have ruled this country, didn't know what power was. They never knew what power was. Because if they knew, because even today, you share the country into bits and pieces. The South goes their way, the Igbos go their way, and the people that are going to rule those people still don't know what the meaning of power is. You still will not get anything. You understand me? So I am not saying, in conclusion to this part of the segment, is that I am not saying that yes, there cannot be a point where United Nations comes in to solve our problem. But are we really at that point where we need United Nations? No. United Nations will only come and solve the African problem when about 10 million people have lost their lives. United Nations waded into Sudan's problem when millions of lives have been lost. Until we have evolved into a full-blown war, then United Nations will say that yes, it's time to come in. Because you and I know that the Europeans don't care about development of Africa. The more worrying that we are, WARR, the more worrying that we are, the better for the European community to exploit us. You know that as long as we are inexperienced in managing our wealth, it is good for the European countries to enable them exploit our wealth. Africa, Nigeria today is exporting crude oil that we can refine here and produce fuel that the local consumption can use. But rather, we take this crude oil out, sell it out, then they refine it, and then we use the same money that they pay us with and buy it back to Nigeria. What kind of economic sense is that? So the European community will always be happy. It is you that is thinking that one European man is thinking that if there's war in Nigeria, Togo will suffer, Cameroon will suffer. They don't care. Africa should go into big pieces. So long as we're in pieces, it is good for their economic gains.
Okay. Now,
so I tell you that until we lose about 10 million lives, they will not take us seriously.
Do you still remember MKO Abiola?
Of course.
Good. When the man contested the election on I think Muslim ticket, the Yorubas voted for him en masse. Despite the misunderstandings the Yorubas had with the Igbos voted for him en masse. Even Tofa in Kano State, Moshood Abiola defeated him. Please, I want you to enlighten me. What trick did the man use to cut across the whole of the nation to be able to win all the... Please,
this is the second time I'm answering this question. You see, our disposition to life in the South before now has always been subsistence. There was a time in Nigeria, Southerners never cared who ruled the country, whether it is Muslim, Christian, military, not. We didn't care so long as they gave us governance. But this disposition of our political nonchalance, culminated at a point where the South now realizes that the North has taken our nonchalant political disposition for granted. That is why today cannot be seen as the 80s or the 70s, where the South didn't bother whether it's a Muslim. So to be relating Nigeria at a point, even then, when you said there was a Muslim ticket, I can bet you with my entire life 3 times over that if it was a Christian ticket, the North will not have agreed.
Okay.
The North will never agree.
You've answered the question. Let me bring another point. This issue of one tribe dominating the country. I believe in citing examples from all over the world because we are members of the human race. In Liberia, West Africa, in 1822, the American Colonization Society established that country. I hope you are following me.
I'm with you. I can hear you very loud and clear.
The American Colonization Society established that country in 1822. When they established the country, the American Liberians, these are the freed slaves they brought from America, they gave them power. The people sat on the head of the natives. They turned the natives to slaves. Imagine the liberated slaves who are now enslaving the natives of Liberia. The situation in Liberia was worse
Mm.
than that of South Africa. But African leaders did not even bother to address the problem of Liberia while they were
Mm.
fighting, the white minority rule in South Africa. And this problem continued for 158 years. When Liberia got to the end of the road, that was 1980, Samuel Doe took over the government. When Samuel Doe took over the government, 14 top-ranking government officials were executed at Arthur Barclay Training Institute in Monrovia. I think April 14 or 15, 1980, I can't remember. They were executed publicly. That execution created a lot of problems that eventually graduated into the Liberian Civil War. That war lasted 15 years, and Samuel Doe was in power for 10 years. So for a quarter of a century, Liberia was in limbo. That is the cause of the Liberian Civil War. It's a tribal problem. One tribe dominating the whole country for 158 years. So the issue is this. If the Northerners are not careful, if this matter should result in a civil war, they will suffer more. Take it or leave
I
it.
agree with you. I agree with you. This
I
one,
know,
I agree with 100%.
I know where they are coming from. When the war breaks out, Turkey will supply them weapons. Iran will supply weapons. Saudi Arabia will supply weapons. Qatar, Bahrain. They will recruit
This,
their people from other African countries to come
yeah,
and fight.
this one. Let me tell you. You see,
No, you see,
I've said it. Hold on, sir. Sorry, no vex. Hold on, sir. I've permission to interrupt. You see, I told you earlier on that the Northerners are not as invisible as they make you seem. They are not as invisible. They are just exploiting our naivety. Anytime we suddenly discover that what they are doing is just intimidation, is just a bluff, they will come down and beg. You see, in this Nigeria, there was a time that the Southerners formed a Southern Governors Coalition, and that upset the North. Yeah, that upset the North, and they decided to play a different ball. There was a time in this country when the Niger Delta Avengers, the militants, were blowing off pipe. Whereas the South were happy that the Southerners were blowing off pipe, it was the Northerners that were angry the most. Why? Because they were the one controlling it. They had to come down and. So what I'm
you see,
saying is that
I
these
think,
people are not as invisible
I
as
think
you. You are. Hold on, sir. Hold on. You are speaking from a point where it's like we cannot hold these
no,
people. We cannot
I
bend these
never
people.
said so.
That's where you're
No,
coming from.
no. You see, let me ask you one more question, please, if you don't mind.
No, go
Do
ahead.
you believe that civility is not a mark of weakness?
Of course. So, and I mean, go to that one
So
again. Of course.
this is what the Northerners should realize. In Central African Republic, this problem we are grappling with, they also grapple with it there. They lost the war. I hope you are getting me.
Yeah.
Despite all the assistance they are getting from their,
I
friendly
was coming up.
countries.
I was coming up with something before I forget. Let me quickly drop it. You see, when the Civil War broke out, it was Igbo against Nigeria. It was Igbo against the rest of Nigeria. So such a war was, if that war had continued, whether it continued 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you know who win eventually. Of course, Nigeria will win. Igbo as a tribe alone cannot take on the rest of Nigeria. But if another civil war breaks out, how will it break out? Definitely, it's not going to be Igbo versus the Fulanis again. It's not going to
No,
be the not. So they know it. Hold on, sir. Each time I say I am here, just they know it. They know it, and they know that there's a limit to which they can play this dominate Nigeria. Because right now, you can see Governor. Hold on, sir. Governor Autumn. Governor Autumn was on channels. Was it yesterday or the first day? The governor of Benue State, and he was saying, just as I'm talking to you now, the way it is, without all this academic rhetoric or political correctness, he was saying it blunt clear. There's an Islamic agenda for Nigeria. There is a plan for a certain tribe to dominate and control Nigeria and forcefully Islamize Nigeria. This is a man with money. This is a chief executive of a state saying it in broad daylight in a national television, on social media, everywhere. He was there yesterday. So this is there.
As I told you earlier on, civility is not a mark of weakness. Now, let me ask you another question. This kind of programs we are on now, these TV programs, online programs, and all these things, why is it that the Northerners are not into it? Why is
No,
it?
they have it. They have it. They have it. It's just that it is not public for us. For their own way of doing things. This is why sometimes they have it. They have it, but they will do it in such a way that only their kind will be watching it.
Okay,
No, they have it.
Okay, now listen. In the history of man, anyway, there are certain things I would not like to talk about. I mean, let's leave it at that. The issue is this: the northern leaders, they should be very careful.
They know, and they are being careful. They are being careful. What they are doing, they are just playing. No, they are. They are.
No.
Nah, they are.
Excuse me, sir.
They are. They are just playing it to a point where they can now come down and say that what they are doing is that they are pushing us to the limit. If we get to that limit, they'll be the first to say, okay, I'm sorry. I know them.
Then look, the consequences of what they are doing now. If you start rolling out, I just wonder what the whole world will say. Anyway, let's leave it at that. I mean,
okay.
Excuse me, I would advise that we limit how much we discuss about the disunity of the country, especially when it comes to the north and the south. You understand?
I've always said that I believe in one Nigeria. What we accomplished in South Africa, what we accomplished in other African countries during the liberation war from colonialism, we cannot, accomplish it along tribal lines. It's the only way we are together. If this country called Nigeria should industrialize today, you see, for example, the whole of West Africa will be our, what they call exclusive economic zone, our sphere of influence. Whatever we produce in West Africa, Nigeria, there's enough market in West Africa.
Mr. Akpojere, since you like going back to history, do you know Leonard's? Are you aware of Leonard's shoes?
Bata shoes, Leonard shoes, I know.
Leonard and Bata were shoe in the. I wore Bata. I wore the shoe they produced was Cortina. I wore Cortina to school. Now, can you tell me? You've been asking me a question. Let me ask you one too. What was responsible for the collapse of Leonard's and Bata? 1, 2. Do you know that we had Leventis and Kingsway in this country? What was responsible for their collapse? 3. The Kaduna Textile, United Nigerian Textile, these are all textiles started in the north because it is in the north that we have cotton. Why? That's number 3 question. Why is it that today the Nigerian Watts and the Hollandia Watts, which the women call Hollandis, I'm sure that it is part of it that Nekpa is using to tie her hair now. Why is it that the Hollandis is more expensive than Nigerian Watts? And why is it that efforts to make the Nigerian textile thrive has failed? Why?
Yes, let me answer the questions.
Is this same thing applies to the devaluation of our currency?
Yes.
I'm going to believe that one as secondary first.
In Nigeria, we don't need Kingsway stores. It's a colonial heritage where they sell British goods in Nigeria, goods that we can produce in Nigeria, toothpaste, sweets and chocolates, and what have you. These were things they were selling in Kingsway stores. They were long about market.
I didn't ask you why we do. What was responsible for their collapse?
I'm answering the questions. Now, as for Bata shoe, I think their headquarters is in Canada, I don't know where, and what's it called, Leventis. We don't need them in Nigeria. These are things we can produce in Nigeria. I hope you are getting me. But
no, Bata. Hold on, sir. No, you got it. You got my question. Okay, for your Kingsway, let's leave Kingsway alone. The Bata. But hold on, sir. As at 80s and 70s, our major exports were hides and skin, rubber, glass, timber. These are things we exported. Now, for our hides and skin, which we have decided to turn to Kpomo, Right now, the ice and pomo is now a delicacy which adds no nutritional value to our skin anyway. The Leonard and Bata was a factory set up to produce shoes to supply to the whole of West Africa using indigenous raw material. So for you to tell me that we don't need Bata and Leonards in Nigeria, for a country that will be supplying the whole of West Africa with shoes and leather works, I don't agree with that.
It's just like telling me that Peugeot automobile
No, we're talking about Leonards, but
Wait,
forget about Peugeot.
Let me finish. It's just like telling me Peugeot automobile in Nigeria, I mean in Kaduna, Volkswagen in Lagos, they are producing cars for Nigeria. I don't agree with that.
No, it's a different analogy now because
Peugeot
Nigeria is an assembly. Peugeot is Nigeria is an assembly. They don't produce Nigeria. They just pick already manufactured goods from across the world to come and assemble in Nigeria. Bata and Leonards were producing shoes with raw materials from Nigeria.
Listen to me. These companies are not Nigerian companies.
Whatever. So why don't we? If we chase Bata and Leonards out, why don't we set up our own country to produce shoes?
Let me finish the point I'm making.
Okay.
These companies are not Nigerian companies. They come here to use the raw materials, make money, and pack the money away. They are not Nigerian companies. We don't need them. The reason why they collapse is this. Let me tell you. Take electricity, for example. Why do we not have good electricity? We don't have good electricity because people are importing generators from Japan. Our refineries are not working because people are importing petrol from outside. It is this cabal we are talking about that is rocking the whole of Nigeria. As long as they remain in power, you will never industrialize. Why is it that
now you are talking? Now you are talking. Now you have got it to the point where I want to get to.
As long as these guys in power, you will not industrialize. I hope you are getting me. See the cement factory, Unkalago cement factory, Okmila cement factory, Iwekoro cement factory. It is disgraceful that we have limestone in Nigeria and we are importing cement. Who are those importing the cement? They are this cabal. This cabal are not only Northerners. Our people are there. They co-opted our people to make it look like a national, how do I put it? To give it a national flavor. But at the end of the day, if the Northerners should get 1,000 naira, the people in the South will get nothing more than 20 or 10 naira. For every 10 naira you make, they've made 1,000 naira. So that is the national flavor they've given it. I know the injustices going on in the system. The issue is that class must be overthrown. And when you overthrow that class, you should not be tribal. This is what led to the outbreak of the Civil War. Kaduna Zogu was trying to address a genuine problem. But because of addressing the genuine problem, the whole thing went tribal. They killed the whole of the North. Even my man, Festus Okotiebo, was killed. Akintola was killed. Man Malaria and others in the North were killed. Sadana was killed. But in the Igbo land, nobody was killed. That is the root cause of the Civil War. So when we are uprooting this class we are talking about, please, we should make sure we don't spare anybody. I'm not saying it should be violent. We can push them aside and continue with our lives. I'm not advocating violence like Kaduna Zogu. So that is
Mr. Hansa sent us some messages and is insulting again. He's being arrogant. I think I will look for a place to block him from there. I will block him from my Facebook. He's watching from Facebook. I need to block him. Mr. Sani, I'm so disappointed about your behavior. I thought he's a gentleman. What is this?
Okay, please.
Coming on live broadcast, making some nasty comments.
Excuse me, madam. Sani is inconsequential. Look at, he's a drowning man clinging out, on a straw. You know, Jimmy Cliff sang a song those days that a drowning man clings on a straw, something like that. He's a drowning man. So if he sees a piece of grass or whatever it is in the water, he's ready to cling on it. Leave him with his, it's inconsequential, it's of no effect.
Yes, uncivilized behavior that is bringing to this. I will never accommodate him on my program anymore. It's
okay, uncivilized. I think we've we've dwelled enough on this issue of what's it called? This political issue. I think we should go to the issue of the second issue of the day. I don't know. I cannot remember it, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the second topic is about Tinubu's school certificate. You know, that he said the certificates were stolen during the military era.
Now, the issue, madam, is this. Issue of certificates. This problem has been lingering since, if I'm not mistaken, 1999 or thereabout. Before that time, it was not a very common thing. And it came to limelight when Buhari claimed that his certificate was stolen or whether taken away when they overthrew his government or something like that. Then they changed the story again. They said when he applied to the military, he handed the certificates over to the military board. The military authorities came on air and said that they don't keep certificates. Now, he has told a lot of funny stories along the line. I'm very disappointed for a number of reasons. This is a man I remember when he was the military head of state. 3 or 4 people, if I'm not forgetting, faced the firing squad for being drug traffickers. I'm not in support of drug traffickers. They pay the price for the offense they committed. So that is that. But a man who can append his signature on a death warrant of his fellow human being, although for legal reasons, should make sure that his hands are clean. For this man to keep on telling us stories about his certificate, no, I gave it to the military board. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not that. When my government was overthrown, no. These things do not, it's not very tidy. So that was when this problem came to limelight. Now, we are coming, it's coming up again right now. Now, it's taking even a very serious dimension. Because Bola Tinubu himself and his deputy, that is the man, do they call it, is he hold on or standing in for his potential vice presidential candidate, is also saying that his certificate is missing. So according to one man online, I listened yesterday, he referred to them as a certificate-less people. Nigeria has become a certificate-less a country. Now, if my certificate is missing, I attended the University of Lagos. If my certificate is missing, which is very possible, what I should do is walk to the office of the registrar of the University of Lagos, because he's the one keeping records. Sir, my certificates are missing, or they've been stolen, or it was burnt, or it was something like that. I need a substitute. At the University of Lagos, there's a policy. They don't reissue certificates. Once a certificate is missing, they can't give you another certificate. What they do is they give you a substitute, a written attestation that Mr. XYZ was a graduate, is a graduate of this university, matriculation number, second class upper or second class lower, whatever degree, and please accord him all the rights and privileges of a degree holder. Now, if I present it to you and you are doubting me, you go to the registrar of the University of Lagos. He will now certify, oh yes, this is my signature, or this signature belonged to my predecessor. Yes, he actually graduated, and these are his records. These are his transcript, something like that. And I can also say that, oh, Mr. Josiah Ogbewe was my classmate. We did XYZ courses together. This man, John Okoro from River State, we were in, these are empirical proofs. But when it is time for you to deliver these proofs, and you are unable to deliver it, then you run into problems. And one thing people should know is this: it is possible to forge a certificate. A certificate can be forged, and even the forged certificate will look more original than the original certificate. So possession of a certificate actually is not the issue. The issue is it backed up by law? That certificate you are presenting. This is what we should be concerned with. Now, if the law says that you should possess a certain qualification before you vie for presidency, it is your duty to abide by that law. I'm saying this because, frankly speaking, for me, on my part, I don't think you need a PhD degree to become a head of state. I mean, you don't need to be highly qualified. For you to be a good head of state does not mean that you have more qualifications. In England those days, there was a man they called John Major, Prime Minister of Britain. He was a school set holder, although he had 9 O levels, I was told. He was a school set holder. He served his country faithfully and left. There was no wahala about it. He did plunge the country into confusion. So it's not academic qualification as such that matters. But they don't want a situation whereby people who cannot understand or comprehend intricacies of developments in the world to be, at the helm of affairs. They plunge the country into terrible problems. Now, Tafawa Balewa was not a graduate. Ironsi was not a graduate. Yakubu Gowon, although he attended military schools, but he never attended the university. The same thing with Murtala Mohammed. The same thing with Obasanjo. The same thing with, Shagari. The same thing with Babangida, Abacha, Abdul Salam. The first graduate to rule Nigeria was Yaradua, and he died in office. Then after that, Jonathan Goodluck took place before. So you see that we've got a string of people who never attended universities governing this country. In South Africa, Jacob Zuma, our big brother, never attended even a primary school. He has no alma mater. He has no former classmates, Jacob Zuma. His father died early, so his mother was a domestic worker moving from place to place, and he, Jacob, got involved in this ANC business. The apartheid authorities did not let him know peace, so he fled to Swaziland. He stayed with the king of Swaziland there, was called King Sobhuza, the father of this present king. It was in the palace there they taught him how to read and write. So from the palace there, he went to Zambia and started moving up and down with these ANC boys till he became an old man. When freedom came, he went back to South Africa, eventually became president of South Africa. But one thing is certain, he never lied that he attended University of Witwatersrand or University of Pretoria or Stellenbosch. He never lied to anybody. I never went to school, and the records are there. So I don't see the big deal over this, Bola Tinubu's issue. If he cannot satisfy the requirement, INEC should remove him. And in fact, even his removal will mean nothing to me, as I've said earlier on. Because
I think with the position of Tinubu right now, his school certificate should not be questionable. For me, because he was the governor of Lagos State, and he went to school. He has shown to Nigerians his potential, academic potential over these years. They should not question his certificate at all.
Why should they not question it? If the Constitution says that certain things should be done before you become head of state, it must be questioned. They must question it. It's just like saying.
So can I come in? Can I come in now?
Okay. If he was qualified to become the governor of a state, it's not qualified.
No, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that.
If I committed murder, listen, madam. If I committed murder yesterday, nothing happened. I committed murder again this morning, nothing happened. If I committed murder now, that does not mean I should not be taken to task. Ganifawa may try to address this problem in his lifetime while he was governor of Lagos State. But because he was a sitting governor, the Constitution says that he cannot be tried. That was what saved him. So now is the time for us to call him to order. If we don't call him to order now, the whole of us should shut up. Should this man become head of state, for how many years he will stay in the State House? We have no right to question him.
Well, for me, my approach to this Tinubu certificate issue is this. A group of cabal who knows themselves. Because Tinubu, Buhari, and all others who have had questionable circumstances surrounding their certificates are not few. There are so many of them. Buhari and Tinubu are just a peep into how rotten our system enables criminals to come into the position of leadership. So what I think is happening is that those who, you know my secret, I know your secret, but you are not in a position to expose my secret, because exposing my secret is of no consequences. Now I can expose your own secret and there will be consequences for you. Tinubu dared the establishment in Ogun State when he said, not exactly directly, that it is his turn, Emilio Con. If they don't do it, that is going to expose so many things. And immediately said that all attempts to remove Tinubu through screening, through whatever fell apart. Now, those who don't want Tinubu to be president are using their last shot, and that is the issue of certificate. And I'm telling you that the matter of this certificate is not, we've not seen the end of it yet, and that it's going to be heated up. It's not as if Tinubu is the only guilty party of this certificate issue, but he's now in a vulnerable state where they can use this certificate to pull him out. Now, does Tinubu have a certificate? Yes, the only one we can ascertain so far is his university certificate. I can online, as I'm talking to you now, there are many universities every day on my LinkedIn page. A lot of people advertise university degree for me. I can get a degree with my money, and in my house I can write and get a certificate. Abi, Mr. Akwajo, am I lying? You are the one in academia.
No, here at the University of the Gambia, there are
No, I'm not
certificates.
talking about Gambia.
No, excuse me, I know.
I'm talking
There are
about London. Or...
I know. There are certificates we don't recognize.
So I know that what I'm trying to say is that with my laptop, and the payment of the school fees, I can get a university degree right in my bedroom. But the problem with the problem with Tinubu here now is his primary school and secondary school certificates. No, it's not even because of this. So that is questionable. Now I know that whether I have a primary school certificate or I don't have a primary school certificate, if I have the money, I can always sit for a certificate and get a university certificate. With your money, you can do that. So now Tinubu's handler knows that bringing that actual certificate, Bode George has come out and said that Tinubu never attended the schools he claimed he attended, because there's no certificate, there's no proof. If you attended, if I come out today and I'm president, I'm very sure that those that attended primary school with will come out and say that, this man, we attended the same primary school with him. Or my secondary school mate will come out and say, this guy attended same school. But Tinubu, there's nobody that is coming out to say, me and Tinubu, we attended the same school. Or me and Tinubu, we attended the same primary school. Nobody whatsoever. Nobody whatsoever. The only thing we have is this university certificate, which they verified. And I know that you can get a university certificate from your computer without actually attending the school. So
I don't know how he got his university degree certificate.
Excuse me, can I add to that? You know, Mr. Raka, if somebody can present a university certificate, why are they still looking for the secondary school or primary
school?
Because
they want to establish the age. They want to establish his age.
No. Apart from that, no. Excuse me.
Why should they use the certificate, school certificate, to establish the age? Can't he declare his age?
Apart from a university degree, the office of president of a republic is very crucial. All our universities right now are closed. I don't know if they've opened.
They've not.
Good. They are closed. This is because the people who are manning the country, they are not academically inclined. Now, to run a country, you should be a man of integrity. Now, when we say that you should live above board, this is what I mean. This is what people mean when they say living above board. If you are talking about, say, people committed adultery somewhere, or adultery was committed, in the course of your investigation, a man like Jesus Christ, you will not think of him at all, because he's above board as far as that is concerned. If you are talking about embezzlement of money, You will not mention Nelson Mandela because he lived above board. These are things that should not be associated with you at all. That is what it means to live above board. If you can lie to us about certificates, how do we trust you with the
Correct.
security of the country? How do we trust you with millions of dollars?
People have been complaining that
No. I'm not saying he's
Tinubu has been
lying.
lying about
I'm
his
not
age.
saying I've not
Over the years.
investigated it. I don't know if he's lying or not. It is up to him to prove. Now, another issue is this. When I was a student at Western Boys High School, Benin City, I wrote the O-level exam in Form 4. And I got some papers before I got to Form 5. You know, there are some students, they get the papers in Form 4, and from there they go straight to university. They did not complete the secondary school system. I hope you are getting me. Now, if that is the route you took, you did not go to a normal high school or primary school, tell us that it is Mrs. Yabo at Okitipukpa who taught me how to read and write. I never went to any primary school.
Exactly, just say the truth.
Like Jacob Zuma. Zuma has never lied to anybody that attended Benato High School in Johannesburg and in Hillbrook, Johannesburg. He never lied to anyone. He never lied to anyone that I did correspondence courses at UNISA in Pretoria. He never lied to anybody. So Paul is in Tinubu's court. Please, gentlemen, come out. Tell us your academic history. This is the point people are making. How can you get a bachelor's degree without a high school certificate? How did they admit you? Is it through your work experience? Or what and what did they take into account before they waive those things? Because it's possible there was a constitution in Ghana, I don't know if it's the present one or the one before the present. That constitution says that before you become a member of parliament, you should have a good command of English. That was a requirement in Ghana. I can't remember the constitution, but your command of English should be above board before you vie for parliamentary, what's called elections. Now, the issue is this. They don't want a situation whereby a semi-illiterate or an illiterate will find its way into the state house. This is why they're asking for, a minimum of West African school set. Now, the issue is this. You said you don't have primary school certificate or high school certificate. What are the reasons? In your case, you've explained it to us. If you had gone from Nigeria to Canada with a certificate from Nigeria and said, this is the certificate I've got, they will not brush it aside. They will also take it into account.
No,
they will take it into account.
Yes, it should be in my record. It should be in my record.
You were frank enough to tell them the plain truth. You could have forged it from Benin City and take it to them. No, I said you could. I'm not saying you will. It's possible for you to forge it from Benin City, take it to them. When they see it, there was no internet in the time you attended school. They will not be able to verify. They take you for your word. But you did not go through that route. You were law-abiding. This is the point we are making. If this man truly attended a primary school, he attended a high school, he should open up. This is not the issue is that nobody is even coming out to say that Tinubu was my classmate. You get the point? I attended primary school since God knows when, but I still remember some of my classmates. I can still mention their names. So if you're in doubt, go and search for those people or publish their names on the pages of newspapers. They will come out. I saw, this man, he was that troublesome boy the other day. Those years. We actually attended Western Boys Primary School. From there, he went to Western Boys High School. From Western Boys High School, he went to Government College, Ughelli. From Ughelli, something like that. This man, from the look of, there's so much certain things I hate.
No, but when it comes to the primary school, it's quite long ago. You understand? He might not be able to
Tinubu is not
any
saying,
of his
hold on, madam. Tinubu is not saying he didn't attend primary school. He said he attended primary school, he attended secondary school, but those certificates are missing. Fine and good. We don't have a problem with you missing your certificate. But if you attended primary school, Who are your schoolmates? You attended secondary school. Who are your schoolmates? Nobody's coming out to say, okay, as influential as Tinubu, as things hard for me like this, if one person is my secondary schoolmate and is a minister or a commissioner, I will say, I know that man. So nobody's coming out to say, I know him. And it's strange.
You know, Tinubu is a very old man. Probably he cannot contact any of his classmates
No, if
anymore.
you cannot contact them, no, if you cannot contact them, why are the people not contacting them? All his classmates have died. Only him is still alive. All his primary.
I don't think he's even taking this thing seriously the way we are taking it serious right now.
Madam,
Tinubu, as the person, has written affidavits to declare his missing credentials. That's all. He's not going beyond that. I'm telling you, Nigerian politicians,
I
they
have to
don't take
leave you
all
now.
this
I
thing
think we have
seriously.
spent 2 hours now. I have to really leave now.
okay, now you see, the issue is this.
Okay, Mr. Raka.
Look, in the year 1962 or 64, I was at, what's it called? Arinze Primary School, 1964. I think that's where, yes, that's where I started primary school, Arinze Primary School in Benin City. Now, the issue is the records might not be there anymore because there were no computers in those days. Those things must have been eaten up by rats or cockroaches. But I should be able to mention who was your principal. His name was DPI Ogbebo was my principal. Now they will go and find out who is Ogbebo. Well, this man should give us sketchy information about himself. This is the point we are making. He's unable to do that. So left to me, they should just forget all about Tinubu, replace him with another candidate who is ready to comply with the law. Because we've suffered enough, we should be tired of saying we are tired of the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. And to crown it all, I'm saying the UN should declare Nigeria a mandated territory and sweep the whole of these guys aside. That is it.
So the way you are saying it, I don't think the UN is even ready to intervene at all, because Nigeria is a sovereign nation, and moreover, hello, I want to. Somebody just called. Hello, hello.
Yep. Hello.
Yes,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. This is David Okibia. I just want to drop my 2 cents on the subject matter you guys have been discussing.
Yes.
I think both of you guys, you and whoever, I forget the guy's name that's trying to kind of whip up right now. You guys are calling for the UN to have some sort of intervention in Nigeria. The number one thing I feel, this is my number one thing that you do not want in the situation that you're in right now is UN intervention. You do not want those people sorting out the problem. That's 100%. It's I don't like analogies, but it is inviting Satan to save you from evil. You know what I mean? This is not what you want. These are the same.
Mr. Kwadebe, can you hear him?
No,
Can you hear him?
I can't hear clearly.
Sir, you know what? That's why I told you to join this program the other day. I remember you called us one day when we were on live broadcast. So can you find time to join us? Tomorrow is available. If you want to join us, let me know. I can send you the link and send you the time. I'm gonna on here. So will you be available tomorrow? Tomorrow is Saturday. You're supposed to be available, right?
I might not be. Saturday's kind of busy for me.
It's hard for people to hear you. It's hard for them to hear you when you are calling on the telephone like this. That is why it's like you are just speaking on the.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, not that I can't hear you. I can hear you, but the audience cannot hear you. It's like you are communicating with only me. That's why I'm concerned about this telephone call.
Okay, listen to what he's saying. Just listen to what he's saying and let me know. Just summarize it. And
okay, go ahead. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead. Maybe I will just have to translate. Yes.
All right. So what I'm saying is that you don't want the UN to intervene and attempt to solve your problems because their agenda is going to be different from yours. Like you don't even know what their agenda is going to be. However bad it is in Nigeria, trust, it can always get worse. So it's up to the people. Like, listen, I'm living in America right now. I've been living in America for decades. I served in the American military and all that. Listen, there is like when you think about war, war is the worst case scenario, one of the worst case scenarios. But there's a reason for war, and there's usually a decent outcome from it. Believe it or not, if Americans thought with the mindset that you guys think of, there will still be a colony of the Queen of England. But they don't think like the people think. When something isn't right, they go to war. And win or lose, they've been fortunate enough to win. Most of the wars, they haven't won every war, contrary to popular belief. Americans haven't won every war, but they've won the ones that count, which is the Revolutionary War, the War of Independence, and that's the one that counts. And there was two of those. People don't realize there was two of those. They fought that war twice. You know what I mean? In Nigeria, begging for somebody else to come in and intervene and save you is in my opinion, I don't. It's cowardice.
It's true. It's true. You are very right. Yeah. Mr. Akpojeve, did you hear that? You heard that?
Not quite.
Okay, it's saying that calling the UN to intervene, we don't know the agenda that they're going to impose on us. You understand?
Yes.
So the agenda might not be favorable to us because they cannot just come there and intervene for nothing. You see, these international institutions and international communities, you don't trust them. We don't want to go back to be under their colony anymore, like what happened during the colonial era, the way they betrayed our ancestors. We should sometimes thank you very much for bringing this idea to this program today. Exactly. If you look at the history.
So it's not just our ancestors. It's every fucking body. When Christopher Columbus, when the first colonists set foot on America, there was 40 plus million people already living in America. It was a highly populated area. You can't find. I'm in America now. You're in Canada. I'm in America now. You can't find these people that used to populate this country. You can't find the people that used to populate Jamaica. Jamaica wasn't, like when you look at Jamaica, those are Africans, bro. When you go to Brazil, those are Africans. When you go to those islands in the Caribbean, those are Africans. Listen, invite the UN if you want to. That is like, if you don't care about living, if you don't care about your children, if you don't care about your posterity, then that's okay. Do that. But they've been genociding people. Like, listen, and this is not something that I'm talking about. I'm not just talking about historical basis. Like, I've been in the military.
I understand the point he's making, but remember I said earlier on that Nigeria cannot be reformed without great risk. There's no way we can reform this problem without paying a price. You get what I mean? Because the hopelessness will just continue just because we don't want the white man to recolonize us. I'm not saying we should be.
What about African Union? The African Union. What about the African
Union? They're more useless than Nigeria. You know the reason why? They do business together. Crude oil allocation. Nigeria sends crude oil to most of them as a form of assistance to the economies. And when this crude oil gets there, they share it among the ruling class. This is what is happening in most African countries. You understand what I mean? Let me cite an example. At the end of apartheid, Nigeria started trading with South Africa. During apartheid, there was no link, no economic or diplomatic link. The first consignment of crude oil that left Nigeria for South Africa under independent South Africa was diverted to Cayman Islands in the Caribbean by South African businessmen. It never got to South Africa. It was diverted. A South African newspaper published it while I was there. So they are hand in glove in this issue of sharing of money, favors, and what have you. So African Union is completely off the way. When you want to think straight, don't think about African Union. Don't think about ECOWAS. They are of no use.
So we have to be careful so that we cannot call people to come and support us at the end of the day. they will come and
But
invade
people cannot
us.
keep on
Then
dying. People cannot keep on dying in
we'll be under their colony again. Go back.
people are dying in thousands. Excuse me, people are dying in thousands. Lives and properties are not secured. The essence of any government anywhere in the world, their primary function is to protect lives and properties. A situation whereby gunmen will just walk into a church like the one at a war, open fire on them, no arrest has been made. A situation whereby terrorists will go to the United Nations headquarters in Abuja, bomb it to ashes. No arrest was made, no prosecution, nothing whatsoever. More terrible things are yet to happen. My fear, my mortal fear is if they do this to themselves in the north, the northerners are doing this to themselves, what will they do to us in the south when they come? They will do far more than that. You get the point?
Yes, sir. All right. I think we have to continue tomorrow,
Okay.
sir. Thank you
I
so
hope to
much.
hear from you. Send me a WhatsApp.
Yes, I will do that. And this our brother that just called. We'll try to call him. I will call him today.
Okay, thank you so
If
much.
you can join us tomorrow.
All right.
Yes, if you can join us tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll see.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody, all our viewers today. Thank you all. Have a wonderful weekend. God bless you all.